Yep, our God is awesome. So today what I'm going to talk about is when should you tell and why should you tell? And those of you that are the ones who the issues are brought to should get an understanding. So everybody knows about my book, Nothing Less Than the Truth, Pushed Back But Not Held Back. The story of me, Marie, Miss Peaches Huntley, and all the trials and tribulations that I went through, what I overcome mentally, how challenged I was mentally, and how I decided that it was my life, so I need to press on and I need to keep going. So if I have to bring you into what I'm talking about, I'm going to start with, my son. My son was having trouble in school, developmental issues, my baby boy. And I didn't understand everything at the time. I just thought that he needed to do this test, he needed to do that test. And then my son had, he went to see a therapist and he got diagnosed for opposition to stress disorder and ADHD, attention deficit syndrome. I say ADHD though. So I wanted to know more about why this was happening and what the medication they wanted to subscribe to him would do. So what I did is I started researching. I started staying around the schools a little bit to make sure I understood what they do when it comes to students like that, what the process is, and also what methods could I use to kind of like try to help my son along in school. So that's what I did. I was, when they put him in the ESC classes, I was at all the IEPs, so I started understanding a whole lot that when students have developmental issues, it takes them just a little bit more time to cope or to get ahead. That kind of slows them down. And that's what my son went through. But the part that I'm speaking in reference to is, as a mom, I didn't give up on my son. They kicked my sons out of schools, and I had to take them to different schools until I found the right schools that would do their job. And I had to understand, is what I'm saying. I had to understand what he was going through in order to help him. So in me understanding what my son was going through, I was able to help him. And I'm glad to say that. My son had some issues, he did. But he graduated. And he graduated with good grades. No C's, no D's. And I was proud of that. So I want to say this real quick. When a person is going through something, there's really never a good time for them to tell you. There's never a good time for them to tell you how it happened, why it happened. They just have to tell you, So if they confide in you or they come to you, this is where the understanding comes in at. I give you a story or something that I went through, but you don't understand it. You want to help me, but you don't understand it. So what you do is, the first thing you should do is make sure you understand what I'm telling you. Make sure you understand why I'm telling you. And then when I tell you how it happened, you need to research what took place to make it happen. What happened here and what happened there. to make it happen so that you can understand how to help me. So you can understand how to help somebody else. Because it's true that when people are going through things and we don't know how to help them, it's easy to judge them. It's easy to look at them, call them crazy. It's easy to tell them, oh, you stupid. It's easy to tell somebody that when you don't understand. That's why I give people pass all the time, because you don't really understand what Marie going through. You don't really understand what your brother going through. You don't really understand what your sister going through. All you know is they told you what was going on and what happened. And they're looking for your support. And see, with me, after years of being silent, after years of being judged, after years of being called a liar, after years of my mental health being challenged, not knowing who I was, what I wanted to do, and why all this stuff was happening to me, years, I also had to come to my senses and understand that maybe the people around me have the slightest clue how this affects me. Because you don't know how it affects me. You don't know how something affects somebody. So pointing your finger and judging them right off the bat, telling them, oh, girl, you'll be okay. We'll get through this. This too shall pass. You know, that statement is for certain stuff. And it's just certain stuff that just won't pass unless somebody get help. I lived in my past for 19 years, mad and angry with a rage. No one could understand. My family couldn't even understand. And the minute something popped off, I was the big, aggressive, stern person. Oh, I'm gonna nip this in the bud, this and that. Lashing out at people. Because to me, they probably was judging me too. And then not wanting to tell one more soul, because I got sick and tired of people feeling like because this your family, you ain't supposed to go out there and tell that type of business. I was actually told that. You need to keep your business to yourself. I kept my business to myself for 19 years and it darn near destroyed me. I was coping trying to take care of children with all this on my back, hoping that it too would pass. But nothing really passes you unless you deal with it. You can't resolve an issue or a situation if you're not dealing with it. Here's what the Bible says about your understanding. Proverbs 4:7 says, wisdom is the principal thing. Wisdom. That's knowing what's right and what's wrong and using that to solve or resolve situations and issues. Therefore, get wisdom, it says, because it teaches you the difference between right and wrong. It teaches you something. Wisdom will teach you, and I'm going to say this, it'll teach you how to stop listening to yourself too. Because yourself can drive yourself crazy. Then it says, which is really important, now that you got that wisdom, and with all thy getting, so you got some wisdom now, now understand what wisdom is. Understand how you use wisdom. Do you understand what I'm saying? In all thy getting, get an understanding. You have got to understand what's going on right in front of you in your life before you can start to cleaning it up, resolving it. You know? You've got to know that you know there's an issue. See, a lot of people hide from stuff that they go through. I was one of them. And you have a right to do so. You have a right to do so, but you got to remember this. When you carrying all that stuff, from the inside is coming out to other folks. And they see you. There's some people out there that just know right off the bat what you're going through. Well, not what, maybe not even what you're going through, but that you're going through something. And a lot of times when people approach me, you all right? You all right? That mask that I was wearing said, yeah, I'm cool. I was serving people, making sure that kids in the community had things to do. I was a storehouse lady. So I let the kids come hang out at my house because it's better than them hanging out in the streets. I fed them. I ran track with them. Paid for it later. Played basketball with them. Jesus, Epsom salt couldn't even help me. Whew. Epsom salt could not help me in that basketball game. Lord have mercy. These bones had them, they had them locked up and had me in the bed for 2 days. But those are sacrifices you make. Those are sacrifices you make. So now here I am working with kids and having to understand exactly, you know, what they're going through. Now, let me tell you this, because again, if you ask God for it, as I asked God a whole lot, because even though I went through what I went through, the molestation, I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that. And maybe right now, I'm able to speak a lot freely about it because I finally started telling the story. And it started lifting burdens off of me because it was one that I was carrying. And it was corrupting my future because I kept living in the past. So another example of getting an understanding, which in any situation, you have to get an understanding. If I come to you and tell you I want to start a nonprofit, and you ask me what the nonprofit is for, and I don't have no answer for you, because you say you want to help me do this, I don't have no answer for you. I don't even understand why I want to start this nonprofit. I can't answer none of those questions. Then maybe I don't need to. Maybe I don't need to start that nonprofit. You get where I'm coming from? Maybe I need to go do my research first. If you come to me and you tell me that you have a personal situation you need help with, and you give me this personal situation, and I sit there and I look blank, my first thing to you is, we gonna get through this, and I would like to help you. But if you would allow me to research what this is and the issue is, and research, you know, what I can do to help you in this situation, then maybe it won't be so hard. That's like with any illness, diabetes, you know, cancer. Families go through it, and they affect it the most when it comes to their loved ones being ill and sick with chronic conditions. And most of the time, you don't understand why that person flipping out, why they're irritated, why one day they up, one day they down, because you don't really understand what they're going through. So now you research cancer and you research diabetes. You see side effects of medicine that they get and can make them feel this way. You see that they can't eat this or they can't eat that. They can't be exposed to this. It turns their life upside down. And they want your help. It's just because you don't understand what they're going through, they lashing out at you. So in return, sometimes you lash out at him. Man, that man over there crazy, man. Let the man stay right there, man. You want to be sick? Let him be sick. No, no, no. I would go to someone and ask them, how can I help this? And my friend, he got cancer, and he this way, he that way. He yells a lot. He angry a lot. Then he's sad and depressed a whole lot. I understand that he has cancer. But what I don't understand is that most of the time when he comes back from chemo, he's very tired. His body just, it won't move, so he need to rest. So when he don't feel like being bothered, I understand that. When he get angry, I understand it because he's sick and tired of going down there to take chemo. when he puking up everywhere and puking up everything and he just not hungry, I understand that because he can't hold nothing down. So now I jump in and I say, okay, let's see if we can fix this for you. It says that cancer, you know, if you're a cancer patient, you can eat this food. It says that if you're a diabetic, you can't have this, but you can have this. It could taste like it, but it's just less sugar and no salt and stuff like that. You'll help a person in the long run when you get an understanding of what they're going through and learn what it is with the disease, the trial and tribulation, whatever it may be, when you understand that. Instead of judging somebody. She need help with her rent. Well, ain't nobody tell her to be spending her money all kind of crazy. You don't even know what. You don't know that she's spending her money crazy and all that. She might be living from paycheck to paycheck. And it's just wearing in on her now. Trying to play catch up is real hard to do when you ain't got enough. So to understand a situation like that, I need to understand what kind of budget did you set? You know, you want me to help you with this? Let's see if we can do this. What kind of job do you have? Are you even working at a job that you want to work at? Or are you just working on a job just to be there? Or is that what they gave? Is that all you can get right now? Because there's a lot of variables to that. Might have a background. You know what I'm saying? Might not have no education. That job might want education. Might be a whole lot of stuff. But see, I understand her situation now. All I'm saying is, we got to be extra sensitive to someone who's going through something, because we don't know if that person will relapse. We don't know if that person will stop. We don't know if that person will just do a whole complete 360 turn, because we was there for them. Molestation is something serious. It is. And especially when it's done by a person that you know and love, it don't feel like love so much no more. It don't feel like that person really cared about you, because to do something like that to you means that you've always been a prey. So they've always looked at you, because a molester or a rapist, they gonna feel like because you trust them, they can do what they doing to you, and y'all keep that bond. But that's just not the case. Sometimes that mess people up, and not being able to say something, or when you do say something and nothing's done about it, that can tear you apart. That was my case. It was like, yeah, right. Okay. Sweep it up under the rug and let's keep living. And as strong person as I am now, I was not strong then. So I lived. I'm not going to get into my household, but I lived. And it finally started to, I had my girls and I had my boys, and I saw all the mistakes I was making because I didn't understand what it was I was going through. I didn't understand that not having someone to trust you, to believe you when you give them a story, especially when they're the person that you know is supposed to trust you or should trust you or protect you. It can tear you apart for years, and you'll shut yourself down. A prophet told me one day in church that I was territorial. There's work that God wants me to do. And this was back in 2011. Said God needs you to, God got plans for you, and there's work that he needs you to do because he knows you're gonna get out there and do it. But you're territorial. You stay in your house, you don't like to come out, because my house was my safe place. I didn't feel like seeing people, and I think I went into a depression. So in order to sleep, pills helped, and going out, having fun, drinking and stuff like that, and I'm the first person to be drunk before the party even start, even my own party. And it just took a lot away from me. It took a lot away from my life. Took a lot of parenting away from me as well. It did. So today, all I can do is, when I explain to my children, I explain to my children what happened, what I was going through, and how sorry I am, because I thought I was being the best mom I could be, but I was coping with something. I was trying to cope with something that wasn't no coping to it, because this was close and it was personal. And going around family just didn't seem right all the time. And I was mad with it, mad all the time. I even had hate in my heart. And at one time I didn't know how to forgive people. And that's only because when I spoke up, nothing was done about it. It was not resolved. I came out to be the liar. And like I said in my last video, sometimes people don't understand what they're doing to you. And even when you tell them, they'll tell you you're going somewhere with that, because we live, especially in the black culture, we live in a culture where if something going on in our house, that's where it stay at. It stay in our house. We don't need no outside help. You don't need no therapist. You don't need nothing. You get this belt if you don't sit down somewhere. But that comes from people who not necessarily learned either, or had their own things that they were going through. So I was even willing to make that pass. You know, it might be going through something, so you can't face this right here. But don't ever believe that something like this cannot happen in your family. Don't ever believe that something like this can't happen in your family, because it can. I'm sure after a lot of my family read my book, they still wondering how this happened, and ain't nobody told us. Well, my family too big to get around to everybody, first of all. But I told who I needed to tell. And today I love her. And she's still my rock. But it was some time ago, and I came to the understanding that I can't judge how she felt in this situation. I really can't. Because she probably didn't know what to do, to say. And when you grow up with dad like mine, no, sir. And that's how it was. So for the sake of my family, I opened my mouth. I was told by some of my family members, you open your mouth too late because it happened again to somebody else. And that hurt. I told you, these videos are going to be very transparent and just nothing but the truth. I'm not really interested in who cares about what I'm saying and how I'm saying it, because I'm going to be respectful. I only care that you hear my truth so that you can help somebody else. Because a lot of times we can't help people because we don't understand what they're going through. But all it takes is you going to somebody. And again, that first thing you do is ask them how they feel. Never, ever with a person going through depression, a person who's been raped and domestic violence, you don't ask them what they did, because don't nobody deserve to be done like that. Nobody deserves to have their body touched by nobody in the wrong way, unless you give them permission. And of course it would be the right way. Ain't no man got no right to go grab no lady, but cause he see it sitting out there. No matter what she got on. He gonna look, yes. You don't have the right to call somebody on dope a crackhead because they need help. Something happened to them that made them resort to peace. And their peace of mind is a drug where they so high, they ain't worried about the care of the world no more. I'm just begging people to understand what folks need to know. In all thy getting, get an understanding. In all thy getting. And if you can't help somebody, whether they're your best friend or a family member, you should be able to refer them to somebody that can help them. You got to remember, we in this world. We on this earth. So please don't make the mistake. And I'm saying it like this for a reason. Don't make the mistake of every time somebody come to you for help, they're going through it. Oh, Jesus will handle it for you. Girl, just go ahead and pray. Well, I knew Jesus at the time too. I knew that I can go to God and pray. It's just everything was happening so fast that I sat on my bed one day and I asked God, why is all this happening to me? What did I do to deserve all this? I never want to be an enemy to nobody. I want to make sure I understand everybody. Because even if somebody walk in my house right now and he go to shooting, and I just so happen to live in court, I need some understanding. I need to know why you did that. Would that make me not mad with you? I'm gonna be upset, but it's not gonna make me hate you. It won't make me not love you. And at the end of the day, I'm just gonna tell you, you need to get a little help so that don't happen again. Because everybody go through something in life. Everybody go through something in life. Everybody got a story to tell. Everybody. It's just some people won't tell their story. Some people don't understand how their story can heal somebody else. You can never understand how you could save somebody's life by just simply asking them, what do you need me to do? Are you okay? How are you feeling? You angry? Well, tell me why you angry. Because me talking to that person, maybe I can keep them from doing what they was going to do. Because some people just need somebody to talk to. They just need somebody to love on them, to care for them. Because there's a lot of people growing up that's not getting that type of care at home. A lot of our children out here sailing to and fro with no direction. Yes, some of them molested, raped, sexually assaulted, beaten, neglected, thrown away, emancipated. Because their situation. So that brings me to this. You got to be easy to approach as well. Come on, parents. Y'all got to let that toughness down and listen to what these babies saying. So that these babies don't grow up like some of us did. Isolated, territorial, angry, mad, confused, depressed. Taking pills and drinking alcohol to get by. They don't have to go through that. But as you can see today, our youth are preceding us in death. Why? Because they're growing up with parents that probably don't have education and probably don't know how to help them, but they won't even go get help. But somebody else know that they need help. And it's that it's not your family, don't intervene. I'm sorry. But if your child come to me with an issue that they was too afraid to tell you, they're going to have my total confidence. And when I get with the right person that can help them, that person is going to help me tell you. Because you got to remember that child is holding you to confidence. They need somebody to trust. Sometimes my kids went to other people for questions to be answered. Didn't necessarily mean they didn't trust their mama. It's just my kids saw a lot of what I was going through. And in that stage where I was angry all the time, they weren't going to ask me no questions. Because they knew their mom was just going to brush them off. Got my own problems to deal with. So I'm going to insert that in here too. I never meant to hurt my kids like that. I just never understood what I was going through. And I was a young mother. But me and my babies got a bond out of this world now. And I thank God for that. Because only God can do that. So, when do you tell and how do you tell? And when it's told to you, make sure you get an understanding. You won't understand me and what I went through if you have no knowledge about it. And if we want to take this spiritually, sometimes people don't have to know what you're going through. They can just pray for you anyways. God don't always reveal everything about you to somebody. He just tells them to pray. So if you don't go to somebody, but that's what God told you to do for that person, then that's what you do. You pray for them. But if that person come to you, I don't went to a couple people and they don't told me to let me see who I can get to help you, because I don't want to make the wrong, mistake and set you back any further. And I appreciate that, because I was angry. But I thank God that I had enough sense in me when I started getting around the right people and working in the right arenas. I saw all the resources, and it wasn't too late for me. And there's some people that I worked with in the last 3 years, 4 years. They knew who they are. I don't have to say it, but they helped me overcome. God told me to write my book 6 years ago. And Marie said, I'm not writing no book. I'm not telling nobody my business. Why? So they can talk about me. They already talked about me. I'm not telling nobody. I'm not writing a book. And 2 years ago, a prophet came to me, and she was the fourth one, came to me and told me I need to write this book. And she said 2 specific things that let me know that was God. Because those 2 specific things that she said lined up with what was going on in my life, well, what had gone in my life. See, she spoke of what happened to me in the past and didn't even know me. So I knew it was time for me to write the book. Still took me a little minute to get it out there, but I got it out there. And what you read is what it is. Because he just told me to write about what I went through and how I overcame it. My healing didn't even start until about 4 years ago. About 4 years ago, because I was comfortable. After I started telling my story, I felt like a burden lifted up off of me. People started trusting me. They didn't judge me. And whether they knew me or not. So for those of you that are going through right now, for those of you that got a story to tell that can help somebody else, don't sit back on that for too long. I don't care if they say about 15 people writing a book in the same neighborhood, then write the book. Write the book. I don't care if you get up on the podium and you just want to talk to folks, because that's your time where you testify in church. Tell your story. Tell your story and help somebody else. Save somebody else. Give somebody else peace. Let somebody else know that there's joy. Joy comes in the morning. It may seem dull right now. It may seem like you're depressed right now. It may seem chaotic right now. The storm may be raging. But joy comes in the morning, because that storm don't last. That storm ain't gonna last. God sent me through a whirlwind fast. Stuff started happening so fast that I had to turn around and I had to look in the mirror and say, man, God, wait a minute now. Let me catch up to the first thing you did. You know? Because it was happening just that fast. And whirlwind came in my house. And trust me, all 4 of my kids was just, I had to figure out how to catch up with them little boogers. Then I had to tell God, slow down for a minute. Wait a minute. But it was expedient that I went through what I went through for what I do now and for who I was in that community there. And because I'm not there anymore, it doesn't necessarily mean nothing. Because you can make a community your home anywhere. The when and the how. When do you tell? And how do you tell? And you only gonna tell when you trust somebody. But if that person proves not to be trusted, I'm sorry. But you can set that person back and you can make them even worse. So be careful about who you say you want to help, what you're gonna do, and about running your mouth. Because if somebody come to you and confide in you about something that they went through, shut your mouth to other folks. Unless you're there to get them some help because you don't understand or because you don't know what to do. Shut your mouth, because when you judge people like that, you're judging God too. You got to remember, some stuff God sends to us for us to go through. He don't send it to kill us. He sent it to test us, to make sure we could stand. And what I went through is what I went through. But I believe that God was setting me up for days like this where I could help those who are actually going through this stuff too. Young women and queens. We'll talk about some of my other stuff in another recording. This one I just wanted to come back on here and tell you that you got to understand first. Understand what it is a person going through so that you can get an understanding of how you can help them. How you can help them move forward. How you can help them get through it. How you can help them press. When it seemed too hard for them, when they want to give up. You pushing them. Because you understand what they're going through, so you pressing. That's why a lot of times God send people to you that been through the same thing you went through. Because them people ain't going to judge you. They ain't going to judge you. They just assume right out of action plan for you. Hey, baby, I did this first. I did this second. I did this third. I did this fourth. And look at me now. So let me see if this works. Can we see if this works for you? I'm just saying that there's variables everywhere. And this conversation can go on. But because this is Peach Fuzz, and I want to make sure I keep coming to tell you the truth and be honest with you, because this ain't about me no more. Y'all see this world? Y'all keep sitting here and thinking all this stuff about y'all, and y'all want all the attention, and y'all just want stuff to happen for y'all right then and there. God to keep slowing down, slowing stuff down in your life. Until you do what he tell you to do, because it's not about you. Your gift not about you, your talent not about you, none of that. None of it. Your vision ain't even about you, because God gave it to you. He said, write the vision and make it plain. He'll do the rest of the work. You just write the vision, make it plain, and then he'll provide. He'll provide. He'll provide. So I hope my book blesses you all. You can go to www.misspeaches.com to get that book. And for those of you who know me, I'm in Colorado right now, but I've had a lot of free time to start writing my next book. This one's going to be kind of fiction because I'm going to tell a story. My mind wanders a lot. But I want to make sure I reach as many people as I can reach before I leave here. And you should do the same. Just because people call me Miss Peaches, that don't make me special. They just knew that they could depend on me and rely on me to do this and to do that and get this done. And even when I couldn't help them, I went and asked somebody else. When I didn't understand, I went and asked somebody else who helped me understand. Because you will send somebody down the wrong path, in the wrong direction, and it'll cause them to have a setback, a relapse. And then they won't trust nobody for a couple of more years. www.misspeaches.com. You can get my book from there. My book is also on Amazon. You can also Cash App $, I am Miss Peaches, the $25, and I can send the book to you. Either way you want to do it. But I feel like the book is it wasn't meant to be a novel or Stella or get a Nobel Prize. It was just meant for you to learn what I went through, who I was, and how I overcame it. And why you see the fight in me, and why you see me carry on the way I carry on about the lives of others. Because I truly believe people out here need help. And you ain't gonna help everybody. So don't ever set yourself up like that, because you'll disappoint yourself a lot. I started out like that. But I thank God that I'm able to do this. And to my friend at Westside Gazette newspaper, back down there off of 6th Trunk in Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale. Thank you for giving me this idea about 2 years ago to be a column in your newspaper. I just never got to it. But I'm doing it now. So I hope y'all enjoy Peach Fuzz. And it ain't gonna have all that fancy stuff, written all over the screen and stuff like that. Let somebody want to do that for me, because I don't know how to do it. All I know how to hit the record button. But subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Peach Fuzz. Again, my website is www.misspeaches.com. And y'all pray for me. Wish me the best over the next coming months. I'm planning to do something big, and I'm going to keep y'all on point with it. I'm also planning to start my new business, because time not going to wait for us. So if you got it in your hands and you got the vision, you better start working on it now. Or your situations, just like my situation that I went through, will hold you back for a while. And hopefully it's not too late. I love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning into Peach Fuzz. And until next time, always remember, ain't but one way to go. And that's up. Peace.